Hey everyone. So yeah, I'm gonna go into command line again. I'm gonna show one of my teams, and so I have a bunch of different teams that I work with in Claude Code. So I'm gonna see what screen you can show. All right, I actually might do this live. I actually built a pretty cool presentation because I was really scared about doing it live, and now I've been inspired that maybe I should just do it live. But let me switch between screens. So this is kind of the content team that I have, and so the content team actually above this, there's a manager that manages the content team. Um, is my screen sharing? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so I'll kind of go through it and then maybe I'll jump in to see if it actually works properly. So what it will do is it will onboard any user, although the manager will onboard the user. And so if you give it a domain, the thing it will do is it will create a audience profile. And so the audience profile, my screen should be switching, looks a little bit like this. It gives a style, it gives an audience card. For the most part, this is a different ICP. We don't do ICPs if you want to create marketing. I think they're kind of outdated. This is really what inspires someone to click on content, to consume content, and things like that. It will then auto create a writing style. Now, if you don't have a writing style, you can just put in a name. I could put in any name here, and it will create a writing style based upon whatever platform you give it, as long as they have content there. So the writing style looks like this. So this is kind of like my writing style. And every time I create content, it will load in the content audience and it will load in the write-in style. And then it will actually create any kind of platform style. And so for me, I have a Substack style, a LinkedIn style, because when you're creating content on different platforms, what actually works across them is very different, which is kind of annoying. If you're trying to create content on Substack, YouTube, LinkedIn, you kind of have to differentiate how you do things. And so it will create a best-in-class profile for each of those. Then it has these research skills, it has content skills, and the one I want to show you is enrichments. The way to think about content in AI is think in modular blocks, and that's the thing I kind of want to show here because I can't show it all. And then it has an orchestration skill, which I'll quickly show. So let me see if I can do a good as job as the other speakers and doing a live demo. All right, let me jump into the content team. All right, so when you're in the content team, it will preload the profiles you have. It will preload any kind of writing styles you have. You can see here, I just have my writing style. I used to have a bunch of others, and then I felt kind of bad for copying their writing style, so I just have mine. I have Substack preloaded, and then I have this content queue. So the content queue actually is really important. So when the manager is running the team, it's doing research weekly and adding it to my content queue. And you can see here, if I ran automatic, if I said, hey, just create me a content strategy and create me content weekly, it would just start doing that. And then I won't have to do anything else. It would just run the entire thing as a manager, but we're going to run it manually. And this is the part, I didn't know how long this would actually take me, given 6 minutes, but I do have slides. So if it goes too long. Okay. So we'll go to our content queue. Show me top ideas in my content queue. Now, the content queue, when a research skill researches ideas, it actually does a couple of things. So it researches trend and topics. It uses XAPI, it uses OpenAI Perplexity, like these different APIs, and it gathers all trend and topics related to your content profile. So whatever your content profile is, it will find trend and topics for that person. The other one I have is a lookalike audience. The lookalike audience is killer, actually. So what I do is I train it in all my Substack posts, and then I say run lookalike research, and it will look for other posts that have performed well because it has my analytics, and so it can see what Substack posts have performed really well. So it will go find other ideas for content that matches that pattern. So these are the ones that I have. You can see I have them labeled data nugget, educational. Data nugget means there's like a killer piece. There's a killer piece of data. Educational means I can teach someone something in a very short amount of time. Spicy take is my favorite thing, actually, is to be a bit of a troll and have counterpoints. And so one of the things I want to show you is enrich, because enrich is my favorite thing. So we'll take the first talking point, and enrich it. And so I don't ever copy and paste content, but I think of content in modular blocks. And so what this is going to do is give me ideas for different modules that would be in that post that map to what my content audience will usually click on and consume. So hopefully this won't take too much time, and I can actually show you what that looks like. And in the meantime, the other thing I would say that I find really useful is that content queue. The content queue has a feedback. I'll actually show it to you if I can really quick. I'll go between the two screens. So the content queue looks like this. So you should be seeing it. And so that I can actually provide feedback. When I provide feedback and I save it, a review agent actually will review the content queue, and it will update all my skills based upon the review. So every time I review my content skill or content queue, all the skills improve. So there's feedback loops built into that. Now, if I'm running it through the manager just runs it. So I don't have to care about any of that. But let me just go back to this. Just make sure it's run. All right, you can see my code, my actual, yeah. And so you can see these modular blocks, right? And so there's actually more detail behind these, so I can tell it to elaborate, but you can see it pulls from my audience. It tries to look for a story. So you can bring a piece of content to life via a story. It looks for an up-to-date case study. This one is really good. It looks for a good quote from a person that my audience will gravitate towards. It has a counter argument. I love this, right? So it actually has counter arguments why that point might be incorrect. And then it has a visual hook. So I have a skill via Claude Code that can actually just build this via Nano Banano. Then it recommends the combo. So you can see here it says, like, I recommend integrating the visual hook, the MIT case study, and the counter argument. And then I would just basically say draft the LinkedIn with that recommended combo, and it would give me a first draft of that. So that is some of the content team that I have built.